Welcome back to The Explainer. I'm so incredibly pumped you're here today because we're tackling something literally almost all of us battle with. Today, we're breaking down the actual biology behind procrastination, and more importantly, we're going to figure out how to build a highly energized morning routine that actually gets you out of bed. We're looking at the real science of why we put things off and how you can completely flip the script on your own brain.
So, I want you to be totally honest with me for a second. How many times have you closed your eyes and muttered, just 5 more minutes? You know the feeling. You go to bed planning to wake up early, right? You're going to study, hit the gym, tackle that mountain of office work. You set the intention. But the exact second that alarm goes off, poof, the motivation just vanishes into thin air. You hit snooze, and the next thing you know, you're waking up a full hour later, totally angry and just filled with regret. Well, let's dive right into this because I want to clear something up right out of the gate. This is not a personal failure. Seriously, over 90% of people struggle with this exact same morning snooze battle. You're definitely not alone in this. Your bed is just really, really persuasive at 6 a.m. It's a universal human experience. And as you're about to see, there's a very specific biological reason it happens.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the daily snooze battle. Then we'll look at the dopamine trap. After that, 3 hacks to beat laziness, followed by the miracle morning routine. And we'll wrap it all up with motivation versus commitment. Okay, part 1, the daily snooze battle. Why do our absolute best nighttime plans fail in the morning? It's just such a frustrating cycle, isn't it? We make these super ambitious plans at night. We're going to study, crush our chores, finish those reports. We literally go to bed feeling like superheroes. Then dawn breaks, and zero motivation. 5 minutes magically turns into an hour of lost time, and you wake up with that heavy sense of regret. But here's the absolute most important thing you need to know today. Laziness feels like a trap for sure, but it's not a disease in your body. It is simply a biological illusion created by your brain. Which brings us perfectly to part 2, the dopamine trap. Remember, it's your brain's illusion, not a disease. The real culprit behind all of this? Dopamine. It's a reward hormone in your brain, and evolutionarily speaking, it has one primary goal. It is hardwired to seek out the absolute maximum amount of instant pleasure with the absolute minimum amount of effort. So when you're faced with a tough task, your brain instantly recognizes, whoa, this requires effort, and it actively tries to avoid it just to conserve your energy. It really just comes down to hard tasks versus quick hits. Hard tasks, like studying, cleaning the house, organizing files, they require actual undeniable effort. But quick hits, scrolling Facebook, watching YouTube, binging dramas, they require zero effort, and they give you an instant hit of dopamine. So your brain actively tricks you into grabbing your phone instead of doing the hard task because it's desperately craving that frictionless, immediate reward. But the real danger here is the aftermath. You start at your normal baseline, right? Then you get this massive spike in dopamine while you're mindlessly scrolling on your phone. But here's the catch. After an hour or two, your dopamine doesn't just go back to normal. It actually crashes way below your baseline. And that severe crash, that is exactly what causes that intense mental pressure, the brain fog, and that crushing regret you feel when you realize you've just wasted your morning.
Let's fix that. Section 3, 3 hacks to beat laziness. We're going to rewire the brain to actually focus.
Since laziness is basically just a trick your brain plays on you, we can use these 3 totally proven psychology hacks to trick it right back. We've got the 2-minute rule, giving the brain a shock, and calming the mind. Let's dig into how you can use these today.
First up, the 2-minute rule. The concept here is brilliantly simple. If you have a massive task that just feels totally overwhelming, like reading a dense textbook or folding a literal mountain of laundry, just commit to doing it for 2 minutes. That's it. Just tell yourself, I'm only doing this for 120 seconds. Breaking that initial barrier of just getting started is genuinely the hardest part. Once you force yourself into motion for those 2 minutes, your brain realizes the task isn't an actual threat, it's not that bad, and your natural momentum will usually just keep you going. The second trick is to shock the brain. Now, I know this sounds a little wild, but it is incredibly effective. When you feel that sudden, overwhelming urge to procrastinate, like when your hand starts automatically reaching for your phone, interrupt the pattern. Drop down and immediately do 10 to 15 push-ups. Or walk right into the bathroom and splash freezing cold water on your face. Yes, it feels terrible for a second, but it works. That sudden physical shock abruptly resets your dopamine-seeking behavior, jolts you out of that lazy trance, and brings your focus back so you can actually get to work. The third hack is to calm the mind.
Sometimes you just feel this total lack of self-control, right? You just feel mentally chaotic and completely lazy. When that hits, just sit down, close your eyes for exactly 5 minutes, and focus on absolutely nothing but your breathing. This super simple mindfulness practice clears out all that unnecessary anxiety and mental clutter. By quieting the noise, you restore your self-control, which makes it infinitely easier to just step up and start the hard task. All right, move into section 4, the miracle morning routine. These are 5 steps used by some of the most successful people in the world. Let's look at how this builds step by step so you can actually win the morning war. Step 1, plan tonight. Step 2, move your alarm across the room. Step 3, brush your teeth immediately. Step 4, drink a glass of water. And step 5, take a cold shower. Let's break down exactly why this specific chronological sequence is such a game changer. Okay, looking at the first few steps, it actually all starts the night before. Whatever your very last thought is before you fall asleep, that usually becomes your first thought when you wake up. So plan your single most important task tonight. Next, and this is crucial, move your alarm across the room. If it's next to your bed, you're going to hit snooze. But if you have to physically stand up and walk across a cold floor to turn it off, you reduce your chance of getting back into bed by 90%. I mean, you're already up. Once you're up, go immediately brush your teeth. It's completely mindless, requires zero hard thinking, but it sends this really powerful physical signal to your body that the sleep cycle is officially over. From there, we hit hydration and shock. Think about it. After 6 or 7 hours of sleep, your body hasn't had a single drop of water. You are waking up fundamentally dehydrated, which is a massive cause of that morning grogginess. So, chug a good glass of water on an empty stomach to wake up your internal organs. Then, jumpstart your blood flow. Do a little quick exercise, or better yet, take a cold shower. Assuming you don't have a medical reason not to, a cold shower gives you an incredibly powerful physical start to the day. It literally just washes the sleepiness right down the drain. Finally, section 5, motivation versus commitment. How do we keep this momentum going long term? If you really want to change your habits, you have to shift your core philosophy here. Motivation is basically like a cup of morning coffee. It smells amazing, it gives you a quick, fun jolt of energy and gets you started. But it fades. You absolutely cannot rely on it all day. Commitment, on the other hand, is like a burning fire. It burns continuously from the inside out. You need commitment to keep doing these routines day after day, especially on the days when that coffee-like motivation is completely gone and you aren't seeing immediate results yet. Which leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Will you wake up 30 minutes earlier tomorrow? Seriously, waking up just 30 minutes earlier and conquering that initial wave of laziness is a massive victory. It sets off this unstoppable momentum for your entire day. So, are you going to let a biological illusion steal yet another morning from you? Or are you ready to light that fire of commitment tonight? Give it a try and see how it completely transforms your day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.